pitch black, seeing nothing. Now imagine the same darkness every single moment of your life. But no more. We offer you I.V.V.I, integrated vision for the visually impaired. Using revolutionary technology, we present to you a solution that is reliable, accessible, and affordable to help restore independence to the visually impaired.
We'd like to introduce to you Jack Chen, a visually impaired 36-year-old who lost his vision at the young age of 16. And despite his disability, he continues to relentlessly pursue his passion for technology. This is the same passion which draws him from his residence in New Jersey to New York. This journey includes going through 2 train stations, through the subway, and even through the chaotic streets of Manhattan. And this is just to get to his workplace. And in his own words, it's like running 10 miles before even getting to the start of the marathon. With I.V.V.I, we want to make things simple for people like Jack. We use the technologies already built into a smartphone, including GPS, haptic feedback, the high-resolution camera, the compass, and the accelerometer, in order to provide the ultimate navigation solution. And so with I.V.V.I, we'd like to restore the mobility freedom for those who choose to persevere through the adversity that is caused by lack of vision. And so the core user interface of our product is simple. Our product converts the visual cues around a blind person into haptic and auditory feedback that they can interpret. So you can take our smart crosswalk functionality as an example. When a blind person first approaches a crosswalk, they will orient their phone in the direction that they wish to cross in. Our app will then identify the crosswalk signal and then notify the user when it is safe to cross. When that notification does occur, the user will then orient their phone parallel to the ground in order to identify the white lines of the crosswalk. You can see our computer vision software working here. And so as the person progresses, if they stray too far from their target, which is the white line, the phone will start to vibrate and reorient them in the direction that they desire to go to. Some of the next steps that we'd like to approach for our product is the integration of Google Maps. And what this will allow us to do is provide navigation information on the exact same platform that we provide this functionality in. Beyond that, we'd also like to notify our users of other obstacles in their environment. That includes bicyclists, pedestrians, cars, anything that you might encounter in an urban environment.
Right now, you must be wondering, hey, isn't there already solutions for those who are visually impaired? And you are correct. There are, for example, accessibility crossings, alternative hardware solutions, and of course, guide dogs. But with every single one of these solutions, there is the coherent problem of the lack of accessibility and and affordability. Let's take, for example, guide dogs. Can anyone in the audience tell me how much you think a guide dog costs to train?
$10,000.
$10,000? Anyone else?
$700.
$700? Well, in reality, it only costs us $42,000 to train a single guide dog. That is the equivalent of 8,762 Big Macs for a single guide dog. And as a result, only 2% of the blind population actually has access to a guide dog. As you can see, these underlying problems in the current market allows I.V.V.I to become a dominant force in the future.
So we actually have a marketing plan moving forward. We want to target nonprofits, organizations, and government agencies that are interested in helping the blind. We actually reached out to a couple of these organizations beforehand, and what we found was overwhelmingly positive support for our idea. We reached out to the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, and we spoke to one of their workers. Her name was Lori, and what she does is she helps blind people navigate the streets. When we pitched our idea to her, she was ecstatic. She loved it. She said that it would really help some of the struggles that blind people face every single day. Now, you're probably dying to hear about our target market, right? We want to target the visually impaired, obviously. But we found that most of them were low income. But we also found that they love to move around and they love to be active in the community, but being blind took away from that. Did you know that there's 1.3 million blind people in Canada and US alone? If we have a 15% capture rate, that's 195,000 customers.
Now, for the make or break aspect of I.V.V.I, how will we make money? Well, we use a subscription-based service that will be rated at $20 a month. However, with the help of government agencies that will provide us subsidies, ranging anywhere from 75 to 100%, we can bring the cost down to only $5 per customer. Yes, you heard me right, $5.
As you can see, I.V.V.I is a perfect solution for those who will not be held down by any limitations. I.V.V.I, see freely. Thank you.
Still one mic for the judges first questions. 3 minutes.
Thank you for the presentation. My question is regards to the actual device. Is it a regular phone you can use, or it's a specific device?
Great question. So what we found when we called the CNIV was that majority of our users use Apple and Android platforms, but this can be applied to any phone. And so since most phones have the functionalities that we listed, the GPS, haptic feedback, features such as that, we'll be able to use any device. That's correct.
And I guess, so how do you activate I believe it's an app, right?
That's correct.
So how do you activate, how the blind person actually activate the
Sure.
device?
So we'll let Nafe explain. We actually have a working prototype.
So Apple and Android both have accessible features on their platforms, and so you can use a blind person could use like a series of touches to access each app. And Apple has like an entire guidelines on them, and Android does too. And so we will be following that and be able to have it so a blind person could access our app without any help other than the device.
In addition to that, the app will actually be used for navigation as well, as we mentioned in our pitch. And so that will mean that the person will actually have this phone app ready while they're walking.
Okay, so first, I've done this a lot in terms of judging pitches. I think you guys are very good at pitching. You got a really gregarious Reservoir Dogs thing going on. I really like that. So 2 questions. I think first is the easy one. Did you guys, Team I.V.V.I, the product name is I.V.V.I, did you do any research around whether or not there are actually other Canadian startups using I.V.V.I as a name and potential conflicts there?
We haven't actually looked into the name itself. However, the idea we know is original.
Okay, I can guarantee you I've actually mentored another startup called I.V.V.I, so you might want to look into that. Also, if you ever do a search online for I.V.V.I, you've got to make sure Safe Search is on, so I'd recommend a different name change. The second one, with the device itself, using the camera, can you talk about, first of all, the process of making sure a blind person can align properly so that they're seeing the stoplights, and then also the hit on battery life, because obviously a blind person going throughout their day, they're going to need this constantly, but Android and iPhone devices aren't designed to have the camera on all the time.
Okay, so to address your first question regarding how they're going to orient themselves to ensure that they can watch the stoplight. So the CNIV, which do have current mobility facilitators, they're already, those who are blind are already trained to actually identify the direction they want to walk in. The current major issue is that they actually have to use the sounds of parallel and perpendicular traffic to identify whether or not it's safe to cross. So all we're doing is removing that aspect and just using the obvious visual cues. And beyond that, they're actually already currently trained to identify the direction they want to cross in by using their canes in order to identify the edge of the curb. However, in the future, we'll be implementing technology that will allow us to identify that as well. And sorry, would you mind repeating your second question? Right.
So for battery life, our app would be able to, so it wouldn't be on all the time, the camera. It would only be on when the person has to cross. And so what we can do is we can decrease the amount of time that's needed to activate our app using the accessibility features on the iPhone and Android. And so there's like shortcuts that you can put, similar to how you can swipe left on your iOS 10 device and then activate an app like that. Similar to that, there are like accessibility features on iOS and Android, which allow a person to activate an app much quicker than going on the home screen and tapping it. So that would decrease the amount of time our app would be used, and it would limit it so that it's only for the duration of the walk, which would be anywhere from like 15 seconds to 30 seconds. And then,
Do you have any estimation on how many times? Thank you guys, that was great.